Welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of May, 2024. And I get corrected all the time. Yes, it is the 21st. It is Tuesday because it is 7:30 p.m. PT, the time zone of Upland. So that's the time zone that counts. Even though I'm not on it, even though a lot of other people are on it, we keep things going on Upland time zone because that's when all the sales happen. That's when the terminals happen today. That's when the sale happens tomorrow for the Totem potions. So we already had the little hint, wink, wink, nod yesterday with what are these bottles of totems with a little totem on there, and it looks like there's a lid on top. And is this a consumable? It looks like it sure looks like it is. We'll get into the specifics of that sale, the specifics of that announcement today. Also pretty important or pretty exciting as well. I did see a pretty interesting interview with Dirk with the Street, which is pretty well known, pretty well followed investing in finance blog website. Media organization. Let's go media organization. I think they are multifaceted. So yeah, pretty well-known media organization in the investing. I guess they're in the crypto space, finance space now as well. So pretty big deal, pretty big interview. Get into some of the details there. Obviously, it looks like it was. It looks like it was at one of the recent conferences and just getting put out now. So it's kind of exciting to see that come out. And then, of course, we did have a sale today, terminal sale kicking off today. Did sell through. I didn't get the terminal I wanted. Go figure. But Slough is going to be it's going to be a city. It's going to be a city that's primarily for FSAs. I thought it would have been cool to have a train terminal there. I don't get one, but that's the way it is because it's called Upland. And I haven't quite gotten there yet. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky one of these days. Obviously, just have to say, tick, tick, tick. We're getting closer and closer to Genesis Week. I've got nothing new today for Genesis Week, other than to talk about some future interviews here, hopefully, and some more opportunities to talk about what's going to be happening next, including some at the venue in Las Vegas, at the Upland Live, or at the Genesis Live event. Some broadcasting to be done there. But kicking things off, obviously, let's make sure we get the views and opinions all squared away. All these opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They represent the game of the team of Upland. Any guests or contributors who we do have on, they have their own opinions. They're welcome to them. They should not be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They represent myself, Will Smith, of the Cafe Nightly Show. They don't represent the team or the game of Upland. So easy enough. We can really sink our teeth into some details here because there's a lot more details than we had yesterday. We had an image. We had an image of a green apothecary bottle or a green potion bottle, if you would, spinning around with a little dragonfly emblem on there. And obviously it was reminiscent of the dragonfly emblem we had previously seen with totems. So we had a good idea what was going on there, but now we have more ideas about how that actually works and what that represents and what that's going to mean, and the fact that there is an immediate sale tied to it. So let's take a look at that up front with a couple things that we don't know yet, but again, a lot of details were dropped in on this, and some ideas of the mechanism and how these are going to work, and even some cost, and something that's not too new, but also continues to evolve on how these sales are done and what quantities are and what prices are, and even what currency. Is it a token of UPX or it is in the US dollar? We're going to get into how Upland's kind of set this up and what this almost looks like in terms of Upland's preferred currency or how they're using currency when we talk about these sales. So Totem Potions, a new way to play. At everyone, we know you've been waiting for some Totem news. Yes, we've been waiting. It's been 5 months, and we have some for you. We're introducing Totem Potions, a new way to level up your experience with your totems. I'm going to get into some totems, some ideas about the leveling up the experience of totems and what could also level up this idea, the experience of totems. Like, I don't know, having another cycle, maybe. Grab your potions and work on getting your totems spruced up for their next cycle, giving yourself even more of an edge to earn at that all-important totem. Again, Without getting too much into my own experience, I can say almost everybody who participated, and again, almost everybody did see a profit on Totem. Stacking that Totem up. The hypothesis, the theory is, we're going to have a better opportunity to earn Totem now than we're going to have to earn STEM in the future. So people are trying to earn as much Totem now. So when we convert to STEM, so when we get real life in the game, we're going to have that good starting position. So every opportunity to earn Totem, I think, is something that most people want to take advantage of. If they have an opportunity to interact with the challenge of totems in a little different way to increase the output, that's going to appeal to a lot of people. And again, it all comes down to costs, and it all comes down to how this affects the experience overall. So let's take a look at that. Full details are here. Here's the link here, of course. And again, Uplands, get yourself in there. Message. We got a little bit of promotion up front here. We got that beginning here. But let's see what the Upland has to frame this, or how they choose to frame this. These magical elixirs are designed to help you upgrade and evolve your totems, making them more powerful and efficient. But there's a twist. Evolving requires burning one of your existing totems, and each player can only burn one totem, so choose wisely. Upgraded totems are enhanced, boasting improvements in various attributes such as output and frequency. For example, by leveling up, you might upgrade your totem from orange to red, which would increase the interval between feeds for that totem. And here's the interesting thing. Do you remember that totems were originally one of ones, which means that exact stat for your totem was supposed to only exist once? Well, if I go and level up my totem in one key category, and you didn't level up your totem, but yours was one scale ahead of mine, guess what? Now we have the same totem. Hey, buddy. Now we're totem buddies. So the idea of the one of one, could it still be argued that they're one of one NFTs and the way that they're codified, and maybe there's the demarcation on the upgraded totem? Maybe it sounds like you're burning and receiving a new totem. Maybe it's a one of one because even though it has the same stats, it's denoted in a different way. Sure, I'd take that. But again, it does kind of go against that idea that every single totem is a little bit different. I remember when people were figuring out how to interact with your totems, and you had to titrate a little bit between this totem and that totem. Realistically, once you knew your frequency, once you knew, you go and figure out what your input's supposed to be at what frequency, and then you're in pretty good shape. There was that unique combination when you included things like what the penalty is for missed feedings. Those things all tying in there. But again, you're going to want to improve your totem as best you can, especially if you have one totem or another that's not doing what you need it to do, or making things difficult in your previous schedules. Upgrading totems, again, are enhanced. They have their improvements. If you're going to level up, and you're going to upgrade from orange to red, again, you're going to increase that interval between feeds. You're going to make it so you have more time, in between the feeds, if you're not able to get in and feed every 8 hours, which is what the oranges freaking love. Burning a totem will result in an upgrade, but it does not guarantee that you will get the same totem back. Ooh. As a result of all of its traits may change. You change one thing, you may change all things. That is a gamble, I tell you. What are totem potions? There are two main types of totem potions. One required to begin the process, and the other to level up your totem. Only one totem per player will be counted, and if a player burns more than one, we will only count the last one burned within the window, and prior totems will be lost. Here's some danger, Will Robinson. This is something you want to be very careful about. If you are questioning, how do I do this? Read this article 15 times before you do it. I mean, I'm going to try to be as clear as possible on this. Hopefully we get an opportunity to talk about this publicly in public discourse a couple times. But telling people burn a totem, you're going to get one back. But FYI, don't do one-to-one, because you can only do one. And if you do more than one, you're losing all the others. That is a very, very important piece. That is one that people have to watch out for, be keen on. And somebody, I guarantee it, somebody will make this mistake and it will be sad. But I don't want anyone to be on that boat. Hopefully, anyone in this room is not going to be in that case. Anyone watching this video is not going to be in the case. Do not burn more than one totem during this event. It's not going to work out for you. This same rule applies to evolution potions. Only the last burned evolution will be counted. So you can burn different evolutions, have a different effect, but not stackability so much. Not stackability. Evolution potion. This potion is essential for initiating the level up process of your totem, serving as the starting point for this transformation. To begin, you will need to burn one of these potions along with your totem. Okay. The evolution potion should match your totem you're burning, or you will receive a negative 20-point penalty on the leaderboard for mismatching. This penalty only applies to the evolution potion. Okay. So you have to, if you're going to burn a shark, if you have a shark, you're going to burn a shark. You're going to burn a shark along with the shark evolution potion. Same thing for dragonfly. Same thing for panda. Okay, this is an interesting, a little bit of an interesting situation. The interesting situation is we're going to take a look at the sale and how Upwind has it structured. We're going to see that it's a very specific burn dynamic, which means how do you match the two? And again, this is Upland creating a circumstance where the secondary market is required, is needed, is essential to make sure that this process, this burn event that Upwind is building happens correctly and benefits people as much as possible. So again, creating a product, putting the product out there, we'll look at the sales amounts and the dollars and how that all ties in. But ending up with a secondary sale being a big part of this. And I expect these, if I see these correctly, if I think these correctly, these are probably going to be miscellaneous NFTs. So this is going to go in that legit shop. They're miscellaneous NFTs, also known as legits. Legits go into the legit shop or the miscellaneous legit shop, if that's what you choose to call it. And that's where we're going to see a lot of these get sold. Maybe I'm going to apply for a miscellaneous legit shop because this is crazy. Or maybe I wish I had already, because this is something where we have another opportunity where there's a lot of value here. There's a lot of value for people, but it's going to end up in the wrong people's hands. It's going to be randomly distributed. Again, look at that mechanism of that random distribution. These potions vary based on level, color, and style. To maximize your potion on the leaderboard, your position on the leaderboard, sorry, the color and style of your level up potion should match your totem. Burning this potion earns you points on the upgrade leaderboard, which will be updated every few hours once live. The upgraded potion process is guaranteed, but the outcome is determined by the points you accumulate. Huh? The higher you are on the leaderboard, the better your chances of obtaining the most advanced totem, with upgrades possible in one or more of the traits. Point system for upgrades. Level 1 equals 1 point. If color matches, +2. If style matches, +2. Total of 5 possible points. Level 2, 2 points. If color matches, +3. If style matches, +3. Possible 8 points. Level 3, 3 points. If color matches, +5. If style matches, +5. Total possible points, 13. So what we're looking at is variable rarity, or relative rarity applied in these legits. Obviously, the higher points, the higher levels are going to be more rare. So that's going to affect their value. We're going to see that there's going to be a primary and a secondary market, obviously. We're going to see there's going to be speculation. People are going to buy these just to flip them. We know that the shops they're going to be sold in are going to, again, not confirmed, but more than likely be legit shops, because they have to fit in some type of meta venture. The one that they seem to fit in is going to be legit shops. And let's take a look at the structure of how these get sold to the primary. We know that the secondary secondary market is probably pretty strong on these. 3 bundles are available for players to purchase to start leveling up their totems. Registration opens Tuesday, May 21st at 8 a.m. PT. Sale starts Wednesday, May 22nd at 9 a.m. PT. Evolution bundles. So the Evolution bundle is priced at $26.90. The quantity is 500 of these bundles available. It includes 3 items. You have a 50-50 chance, so 50% chance is the way we say that, of evolution or a level 3 potion. So here's the thing, you're not even guaranteed in this case to get an evolution, which you need to actually evolve your friendly totem. 80% chance of level 3 or a level 2 potion. So 20% chance that it is level 3, 80% chance it's level 2. And then your third item is going to be 40% chance of being level 2, 60% chance of being level 1. I want to touch on something here in a minute, but this is an interesting dichotomy or interesting variable rarity here. In that you're paying $27, not guaranteeing you get yourself an evolution. If you want to guarantee yourself an evolution, you buy it in the secondary. Otherwise, you could buy 6 of these packs and roll the dice wrong every time and end up with a bunch of level 3 potions. But maybe at that point, when you go in the secondary market, we see level 3 potions being outsizedly valuable. Again, at a $27 price for this bundle, that's USD, $26.90 USD. We are going to see that there's a decent amount of cost that gets in here. And again, this is on the USD side, which means if you're buying it in UPIX on the secondary market, which many people may do, we're going to see a significant effect or a significant coefficient applied when we look at how that transitions over into the UPIX market. And it may be 2,500 UPIX per dollar, or maybe 1,700 UPIX per dollar. We see that it's different per item, it's different depending on the purchase mechanism. But we know a lot of people are on the USD side. There's a lot more people who are on the UPIX only side. Some of the people who are on the UPIX only side have a surplus of UPIX, so they're willing often to spend a lot more UPIX than you would think, at whatever the standard at the floor coefficient might be, if the market demands it. And that might exactly be what we see. Potions bundle. They're $10 a piece. There are 650 of these potions bundles available. It includes 2 items, a 20% chance that it will be a level 3, an 80% chance it will be a level 2 potion, and a 30% chance that the second item is going to be level 2, and a 70% chance that second item is going to be a level 1. Easy enough. So more than likely, you're going to end up with or it is very possible, I should say, they're going to end up with 1 level 2 potion here and 1 level 1 potion. Interesting. The base bundle, 6,000 UPX. There's 1,000 available. You get 2 level 1 potions. Now here's where the fun comes in. So you're guaranteeing yourself 2 level 1 potions. You can kind of look at the value of this. Level 1 potion is 3,000 UPIX if you ask Upland, because you can look at this bundle price, 3,000 UPIX. We come over here, and we don't have a guarantee that you're going to level 2, but you have a 30% chance of getting one. We go up here to the 2080 and the 3 and 2. We have 1 2 that you are guaranteed. Again, 80%. So 4 out of 5. Yeah, that's right. 4 out of 5 that you are going to end up with that level 2 instead of level 3. And pricing on this is 10 USD as opposed to 6,000 UPIX. I think Upland is admitting a little bit that the 1,001 ratio doesn't necessarily always tie in here, where we go from USD to UPIX. They priced the USD a little lighter, I'm going to guess, than they would have priced this if it was actually in an UPIX side of things, which again is just being realistic on the market. But I always like when there is an opportunity to buy into UPIX, because I got a bunch of it. I get much more than 6,000 a day at this point. Not much too much, but I get more than 6,000 a day at this point. That could be one of these bundles right here. That's just from the dividends that I got in a single day. The trade and burn window for this potion cycle will be open for 1 week. That means that you can buy, sell, get them. You'll be able to burn and up to and closing on the Wednesday, May 29th at 9 a.m. PT. New upgraded totems will be distributed to players the following week. That means, let's do the math. That means the beginning of Genesis week is when you will see, it says the following week, when you will see these new totems come out. Does that mean Genesis week is going to tie into the next cycle of totems, or totems are going to follow Genesis week? I would say so. I would say it would make sense if it did. There's no guarantee. There's no reason to really know that. The timing does seem auspicious for totems to come back, but it means that the new totem distribution is going to happen right before we actually get things, or during the week of totem week of Spark, of the Sparklet Super Duper Extra Special Genesis Week Festival, both live and virtually. That's the week that you are going to have. That's the week you're going to have the Sparklet, the G airdrop opportunity. That's going to be the week that you can potentially win an airplane. That's the week that you're going to be distributing totems, and maybe that's going to correlate with some totem resurrection, the cycle 2, the second cycle of our totems. Participation in this potion cycle isn't required for future totem cycles. Okay, the next totem cycle will be announced soon, so stay tuned. Prepare to take your totems to the next level with these exciting new potions. Mark your calendars and get ready for this transformative experience. Happy upgrading. All right, let's do some math. Not crunching numbers into the dollars and cents, but let's look at the broad numbers. Broad numbers are totems were originally like 55,000, upics were $55 USD. Again, markets aren't married, so we did see that on the secondary market. Some of the less popular totems were being sold under that $55. Some of, or almost all of, the lower cost totems ended up being at a certain point there were over 100,000 upics. They kind of drifted down into the 90s. 90s, and some on the ones with the worst or the hardest to care for stats ended up somewhere down in the upper 80s. We did see this happen with this migration a little bit. We did see the migration on the USD side come down a little bit. So upgrading your totem, potentially no guarantees, upgrading your totem a level or two, a little bit along the way. No guarantees that it's going to be that much better, but maybe just a little bit, better. With that being the case, how much cost does it make sense to put into this versus going and buying totems on the secondary? I'm going to argue that you have to look at this from your perspective. What totems do you have? Do you want to improve? Do you want to sell the totem you hate the most and see what you can get for it on the market, and then be willing to spend more USD to buy in the secondary? Because I love secondary purchases. I love people going out there and buying on the secondary. I do like the idea of the structure. I do like the idea of giving people the opportunity to improve the totems they already have. Maybe you named your totem. Maybe your totem's name is Sylvie, and maybe you've been feeding Sylvie for the last 6 months in your mind. Obviously, you only had that one cycle, but you've been thinking about it since the last cycle, and you've been pretending to feed this totem, and you really love it. And when you look at it, it's the right color, it's the right size, and it's the right shape, and you just really love it. But you just wish that one thing was different. Maybe you just wish the style was a little bit different. And maybe that's why you're going to participate here. And again, there's plenty of people who are going to fit in that category. If you are looking to have a little better totem than you have now, there's other options. Again, this is not to say don't participate in this sale. I think that you could get some decent opportunities for buying, selling, flipping. I will give one caveat. The one caveat has not been confirmed that these will be listable in the legit shop. There's plenty of reasons to think they will be. Again, at this moment, there is not confirmation that they will be listable. Upland says the word swap, so I would expect, obviously, the swap mechanism is going to be turned on. You get the wrong one, you go and look in the community, you find somebody who has the style that you want, you go and get that. Or you have somebody who has whatever the trait is that you want, the size that you want, the color that you want, go and get that, and you trade them what you have. I see that as being something that's great in the social side of Upland. It's great on the gameplay of Upland, the idea that Upland's a game, and it gives people the opportunity to, grow in their community role, which is fun. But let's look at the cost on entry. So you need to end up, as far as this game is concerned, you need to end up with an evolution. So You don't guarantee yourself an evolution for $27. You may be able to, if it's for sale in the secondary, to go and buy one for whatever the market bears. And if the market's going to say, because the 50-50 chance of you getting one on a $27 bundle, maybe it ends up being $40, or maybe it ends up being $50. Maybe you end up buying one for 70,000 optics. Do the math. That's the cost of a brand new totem. Is a slightly improved version of a totem you already have more valuable than going and getting another totem, an additional totem? Maybe, maybe not. You're only going to improve one of your totems. If you only have one totem, is it worth that amount of value to slightly improve your totem? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Again, I've said this before on some of these sales where it's price pointing that matters. If the price point was much lower on this, I would 100% agree. When you set these price points on the primary, you have to look at the existing secondary markets in order to see, hey, did I get the right price point? Or if you're on the other side, if you're a consumer as opposed to, the company coming to market with a product offering, if you're the consumer, you or me, you are going to say, hey, looking at the secondary market, I have blank amount of USD in my account right now, my Tilia, or I have blank amount of UPIX. Am I going to take that UPIX and do option A, or am I going to do option B? I like the leaderboard. I like this idea that the people who are higher on the leaderboard, they're going to get better evolutions. I like that. I get it. It makes sense. Sure, it makes sense. I'm fine with that. But if the price point is where it is, you might compete and you might burn this and that, and maybe you burn a level 2 and you go, shoot, I didn't want to burn a level 2, so I burned a level 3 to get the higher points, because now that level 3 that I just burnt negated the level 2 I had previously burnt, which, sure, fine, I get it. But now I've put money out there for both, including the ones that I've wasted. It is an interesting thing. It's an interesting concept. And from what it looks like with this burn window, they only have temporary value. They have value until they're burnt. Maybe you can hold on to them as a legit long-term, as a collectible. You can sell it later. You can have it in your collection. You can have people say, oh, I remember when we did this event 10 years ago. That's fine. That is something that's available to people. People do that all the time. People have done that with these seasons passes, where they're holding on to the seasons pass just to see if there's value to it. Because again, the majority of people who bought a seasons pass burnt it to get the cosmetics, to get those drops every week. But if you didn't burn one, you might be one of the blank number of people who decide not to, and maybe that becomes a collectible in 3 years. That's fine. And if that's what you want to do with these potions, that's fine. It does remove it from the market, so the people who are looking to get the level 3 potion, maybe it's going to be harder for them to come by. Well, let's take a look at here. I think we have those images here. We can take a look at. There we go. So we see that there's a fluid potion, there's a future potion, there's a gamer potion, which is essentially potions to try to match with your current style here. These are style potions. Obviously, we have different levels of potions. So obviously, the getting you more points to kind of move up the board. We get what this is. If the color matches, you get a +2. If the style matches, you get a +2. You get as many points as you possibly get. You're going to end up with a lot of people, not a lot of people. You get a lot of people who get the 8 points. You get a lot of people who get the 5 points. You're going to get a few people who get the 13 points. And the people who get the 13 points are going to get better evolutions on their totems. And at what cost? If 13 points is going to cost you 172,000 UPIX, do you go to the market and buy the best totem you can for 172,000 UPIX? Then sell your crappiest totem, the totem you would rather burn, and take the difference and say, okay, I made $40 on the totem that I was least happy with, but it cost me $85 to get a slightly better totem. The choice is up to you. I just like to let people know the deeper components of what's going on in the game of Upwind. We do have a secondary market for those who do have map asset shops. Congratulations. This is going to renew, and it should renew the interest in totems. We know that there's another totem cycle coming. Maybe at least Upwind's thinking about giving us another totem cycle. I think this is a precursor of a soon or a totem cycle happening soon. But it also means that there's people who are thinking about totems. There's people who've never seen totems who are seeing this event, who are saying, ooh, I got to get me a totem. And keep in mind, all totems can only be purchased on the secondary market right now because there's no more for sale. we only had 555 available of each totem type, form. Yeah, life form. 555 available on average for each life form. So we know that it was like the 5,555 was a total number of available totems. So with that math, if you weren't in the game before, if you came in for the spark drop, for the airdrop, and you are interested in playing the game of Upland in as full a method, as full a manner as possible, you may be looking at these totems and saying, how do I acquire some? And that's going to help perk up potentially the secondary market. You're going to have people looking at this sale and saying, well, I see the math, and whether or not they hear what I say, they're going to see the same math that I see, and say maybe it's worth spending 150,000 UPIX and getting a totem that I really like, or maybe it's worth paying $70 and getting a totem I really like, rather than going onto potions and potentially spending $60-$80 in potions to slightly upgrade one of the totems that you already own. And here's the thing: if I go buy an additional totem, not only is it maybe a little better than my current totem, if I hold on to both, now I'm using both to get me a profit on Protem. And I think I had one totem that I had a loss on, that I made less Protem back than I put into it. Everything else was a profit. So if I can make a profit on all my totems, that's even more of a Protem, even more of a Protem top profit by just having that additional one more totem. And again, theoretically, if I'm going to go back to the market, I'm probably going to buy a better one than I already have. Or at least I'm going to think about how it fits in with the cycle with the rest of my totems. Do I want it to essentially have the same frequency as my other totems so that I'm feeding it at the same time? More than likely. Do I want to sell the ones that are out of frequency so it can interact with all my totems at the exact same time? That's a strategy we talked about before. It's a strategy that makes more sense now that people have lived through those cycles. So we will see what this really brings up or wakes up or creates in the secondary totem market. But that's what this looks like to me. This looks like an inspiration for me, the goldsmith, and other people who are looking at the next totem cycle to think about their current totem arsenal, or their current totem stable, because again, they're analogs of animals, even though they're not animals. Their current totem stable, and what they can do about improving it or making it easier for them to work with when we have our next cycle, which may not be that far down the road. But by all means, if you want to make your totem, that totem named Sylvie that you really love, and you want to make it just a little bit better, this is an opportunity. This is a process you might want to participate in. All right, let's take a look at one thing that, again, it excited me. It really did. I don't usually get excited by interviews. We have a lot of great broadcasters. I do like interviews, but I don't usually get super excited, fanboy about interviews. But we have a lot of great broadcasters in the Upland ecosystem. I'm lucky enough to be one of them. But we have a lot of great broadcasters. They do a lot of great things, and they do interviews with great people. Some of them, like More Cheese, has gotten on people who are in some pretty big projects, some projects that have pretty significant money behind them. They've had people on from Upland, of course, as well, which is our project that we all are part of, but other projects, other NFT projects as well, other artists from outside the ecosystem. So a lot of great guests. They've worked with a lot of people, but it's also fun to see the leaders of our project, the leaders that we see sometimes be interviewed by people inside the community and broadcasters inside the community. It's fun to see them get interviewed by journalists, and I'm going to say journalists because I consider myself a broadcaster, but I don't consider myself a journalist, by journalists who are outside of the Upland space, people who are literally in the financial markets, or literally they have a beat that is economics, broad term economics. And now this little quirky game that I play, and that maybe I put a lot of content out on, maybe more than anybody, but put a lot of content out on this little quirky game. Now I see that one of the CEO, the co-CEO of the game, or one of the founders of the game, now I see them get interviewed by somebody who is a respected journalist. And that is kind of fun. And that's exactly what we saw. And Upland did repost here. Well, we're going to get back to it. Oof. if I could get back to the link that I was looking at before, I'm going to take a look. Here it is. Let's get it back over here. Boop, 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 boop. There it is. Look, we can see it. The goal is to create a comprehensive platform where users can engage in various activities and bring their assets and identity across different virtual worlds. You can read more about this article. The article is from The Street. Like I said, The Street is actually a legitimate journal. Not that every broadcaster in Upland is not legitimate. We're not lying to people, but we're not journalists. The most of us, maybe Tan is, because he tries to run his Metaverse Street Journal as a journal. But The Street is its own thing and definitely does qualify as a journalistic piece of media, journalistic media. And they do have a lot here in terms of markets, finance. They do have the crypto space and stuff into the tech field, but the Street is a real form of journalism where people go outside of the crypto gaming space, people who are in the finance space, people who are in just investing markets, where they go and turn for news. So it was fun. It is fun to see Dirk get interviewed in that context. Again, speaking specifically about Upland's role or place in the crypto space, and again, crypto space, talking about Sparklet coming to the game of Upland, but also more broadly talking about what is Upland, what is its role, what does it do, which includes the fact that, again, Upland is a Web3 game, first and foremost. The crypto tie with Sparklet, it's exciting for a lot of people, because crypto is exciting for a lot of people. There are people who don't get into Web3 gaming so much. They get into the coins and the crypto that is tied to those games. So the way this interview went, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, get over there and watch it. There is a written article here as well, which is nice to be able to read through the written article. But if you want to go and watch the interview, what you are going to see is, we get that whole circle of, we get a little bit of the promotion of the partners, which I've had some thoughts about how strong our partnerships are versus how strong our UGC work is, and how the balance should be more towards UGC instead of partners. But that's just me, right? That's just me. But the idea that we have partners and promoting that, which is a big thing, which is a huge thing that we have. Some of the partners we have, talking about the UGC that was built in there. I like that. Obviously, teasing and bringing in Sparklet because that is something that people are excited about, but also justifying it and bringing it to the point that we kind of have this the couple economies built inside of Upland, and that it's okay to have a second token, and the way that Sparklet is created is different, or the use case for Sparklet's different than what we have for UpX, and they kind of made that point, and it's one that we're going to hear repeated as we get ready for Sparklet to officially become in the markets at some point, some point in the future, more than likely. It was good. It was a good interview. It was nice to see, and again, it is nice to see this in spaces that are not Upland, because it's an opportunity for people. Hey, C324R15. I never know how to say that correctly, but good to see you. Glad you're here. What we do see on that is we see this as getting in front of eyes that aren't normally on Upland, which I always like and I always appreciate. And somebody could be coming over to the street in order to go and hey, take a look. Oh my gosh, let's go see what's going on for the S&P 500 and what the predictions are about the continuing rally of the S&P 500. Or maybe they're over here to look at how Bitcoin is affecting the market, the current market fluctuations, or what's going on here with what analysts are looking at as one's performance of one sector or another on the market. Or you can come and look at this nice interview with Dirk about Upland, and maybe that person is never going to hear about Upland short of being on the right journal. So that was kind of cool that we saw that interview happen, and more power to Dirk for being out there and talking to the right people. So like to see that happen. Jumping into the cafe, lots of food here. Cheese, what's this all about? Cajun eggs in a burrito with sriracha. I like that. So King Cody and Cheese talking about food. Go figure. We got paprika being talked about. Lots of spices. I don't know where this is coming from. I guess we got started on Cajun. We ran down that rabbit hole, but very much so. Looking forward to seeing more of these journalists, journalistic endeavors, or upland, getting interviewed in the right places in front of more people. And on that note, I want to kind of go the other direction, which is go back to those broadcasters that I mentioned that I don't necessarily always consider journalists. We are locked inside a very specific ecosystem. We broadcast very much from our own perspective. We can look at the facts, which I try to do. We can be honest about the facts, which I try to do. But we're also going to lace that. Historically, all the broadcasters I know lace that with personal experience, and lace that with personal opinion. Again, not advice, not financial advice, never financial advice, not that at all. But with personal opinion about what's going on and what might be going on, and what the markets are what's worth watching in the markets anyways, and a little bit of context and history along the way, which maybe that's journalistic. Maybe that's a little bit journalistic, but you have to say it's opinion because it's an opinion, not qualified, not financial advice, of course. So swinging back to the broadcasters, hello, I'm one of them. Looking at what we're looking at for Genesis Week as the run up, I want to see more and more of this, where we can get in touch with some of the main players in the game. That is the staff of Upland. We'll see more of these interviews. We've seen some of them officially for Upland. We'll see some of them on the run up towards Genesis Week, which I'm looking forward to. We are going to be looking forward to talking about how broadcasting is going to be done. There's a little bit of knowledge that I have and a little bit of knowledge I don't have yet, but broadcasting is going to be done at Genesis Week this year. We have people like Morcheese who've already, kind of put their hands up and volunteered to, videotape almost everything they do. And I say tape because I'm old, but video record almost everything they do at Genesis Week so they can share it with people. And again, try to clip the best bits and get the best bits out there and do the best with what we can for editing. But get that out there, and maybe there's some streaming going on and what's going on in this event versus that event. You can't be there live in person, but you love to see it yourself. So More Cheese is going to be one of the options to do that. I know that last year we had a couple people who really stood out in terms of sharing some things. Alan C was one of them who had some great videos and I said advertised and interviewed some uplanders that you otherwise wouldn't have heard from. It was great. It was fun. It was energetic. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of it from Alan C. We have other broadcasters who will be doing likely very similar things. And then, as I mentioned, we'll be doing some official broadcasting that is from Upland Studios, myself, More Cheese included, Too Stupid to Win. And of course, if Too Stupid's going to be there, you got to have TML as well. And we've got other broadcasters who will be doing things like being part of panels and who will be part of putting out content. And guess what? You could be a broadcaster too. If you just want to share your experience, you're going to be at Genesis Live this year, feel free to do so. Put that out there, whether you're an official Upland broadcaster or not, just meaning that you've done enough content that Upland wants to work with you a little bit and help you along the way. But again, if you want to put some content out for Genesis Week, I'm sure people are going to be happy to see it. And if you're looking for it, reach out to a broadcaster, let them know what you're looking for. If you have questions or comments, if you have answers you would love to see brought out, or questions that you want to see answers to, I should say, we'd love to be able to ask the questions that get the answers that you want to see. But the big point here is there's a lot to watch as well. So it's going to happen whether you have questions or not. It's going to be coming from Genesis Week. Feel free to keep your eyes open. And just to run up and get ready for Genesis Week, I will be on with the one and only incomparable More Cheese on the UpX podcast this Thursday. That is going to be, today's Tuesday. Let's do the math. It is PT time. So because it's PT time, 2 days from now, not 1 day from now, all you fun people over in Australia and in Europe and other parts of the world. But it is going to be on this coming Thursday. What time is it over there? 6:15. I think it's 6:15 p.m. PT is the time that gets things kicked off. So we're looking forward to doing that in 2 days or on Thursday, and just talking about what those interviews are going to look like, what to expect out of them, how people can, again, if they have questions that they want to see answers to, talk to the person who's going to be, or send a message to the person who's going to be doing that interview. We'd love to help the community get more information. Again, answer some of those questions that they've been sitting on this whole time. And again, the one other thing that I do want to put out there, I'll say it one more time, is if you are interested in sharing your experience in Vegas, think about how you can do that, how you want to do that. If you're going to Vegas already, you happen to have a cell phone, I bet you can make videos pretty easily. There's plenty of ways to share them, and there's plenty of people who might appreciate what you have to say. So I'd like to put that out there. Kinder, yes, Cajun burritos. Apparently, that is the talk of the town over in the Upland Cafe chat. That is a big part of what I do in the broadcasting, because the Upland Cafe chat is kind of the green room. It's kind of the backstage. It's kind of the whisper in the ear, because that is where we all started. We started over in the Upland Cafe voice chat, so we still have that as a big part. And yes, they always have some fun in the backyard here, in terms of some things that are on topic and some things that are not as well, which I'm okay with because they're kind of fun along the way. Crypto is blowing up in the last couple days. Yes, Kinder, crypto has been volatile. Yes, and we did see a run up, a gradual run up. We also seen some pretty significant gains of some specific cryptos, some specific meme stocks. We've seen some meme coins. We've seen them blow up a little bit in the last couple weeks, last couple days, and that all does, so long as there is no crash, that all does tie into the fact that it may be a good time. It may be, we're not the ones to make the judgment call, but that it may be a good time to start looking at when does Sparklet get released and how does that happen, and being ready for that to happen, which it wouldn't be a bad time to make those announcements right around Genesis Week, which is always a great time to make announcements. And finally, let's look at the last thing that happened today. We're going to get Upland open and over there. The last thing that happened today, obviously, is we did have a sale. We did sell out the terminals. I think it's interesting to see. I don't know if it's a waning or it's a waxing, or it is a cyclical change. We have so many cities that maybe the allure of having a terminal has changed a little bit over the time. They're still selling out. I was number 200 in line. I still have never had a chance to buy a terminal native, to buy one direct from Upland without it being sold on the secondary. And that may change at some point, but it hasn't yet. So that said, it's not like the demand is not there, but we do see that the terminals sit around on the market longer. I was 200th in place, and with my luck, I'm never very, very close. So 200th in place, 8 hours out. That tells me there's probably less people registered this time around, because otherwise it would have been 700th place, because that's just how things work in Upland for me. But it's interesting to see that we still have that energy. They're still selling through. We do know. Like I said, we do know that these are pricey. You are buying something in U.S. dollars. People can talk about the increased value as opposed to other properties, and I 100% agree with that. But you're still buying a property that is going to pay dividends out in UPX that you're paying for in USD. So that is a consideration for people as they look at those $470 terminals, or if an airplane terminal, $1,300, $1,400 terminals. But we do still see that those are selling well, and today they definitely did just that. They did sold pretty well, hung out for about 2.5, 3 hours, and then they was all gone. They were all gone. So we can go up here, and this is the other thing that Upland did a long time ago. They've been doing for a long time. I haven't given them enough credit for it. I actually do really like this, that we come down here and it says sold out, because if I come in 3/4 of the way through the day and I say, hey, did the sale happen? No, I can see, yeah, it happened. I missed it. It's sold out. Keep that up there for a number of hours so people have that opportunity to say, okay, yes, it's sold out. Don't leave it there forever. Obviously, Upland takes it off usually within 24 hours after the sale ends. WW Dog, you sneaking live show at work? No, I'm not sneaking a live show at work. I gotta do this at my after hours, WW Dog. I gotta do this at night. But yes, I'll be doing daytime hours though. We're doing daytime hours from Genesis Week, and that is because I'm not working. I'm there. I'm there for a reason. Oh, you are WW Dog. You're sneaking the show while you're at work. Well, good luck to you, and thank you for doing it. It's work hours. It's work hours all over the world, but not here right now. So the terminal did sell out today. But let's take a look at one more thing here because we kind of looked at it in the broad scale. Let's look at the micro scale. Here's the Potions bundle, $8.99, currently registered in the store, open now. That sale's going to happen tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. Get registered if you want a chance. Again, this is one of those things that is a rotational chance. And yes, I did register for these sales. We talked about the secondary market and that there's some value there. We talked about it's a consideration about upgrading your worst totem. And it's also, I haven't made the decision whether I'm going to spend the USD side on this, but I am registered at this moment. The sale is going to happen tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. We have to register before 8 a.m. PT, between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. tomorrow, 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. PT. You get an email that tells you where you are in line for each of these. The closer you are to the front, the better chance you have of getting them. When we do see these ones that have like 500 of them available, like the Evolution Bundle, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I don't necessarily forecast as being likely, but it's possible that does sell out before it gets to you, a person who registered. It's also possible, given some of the factors that I've highlighted, it's also possible that that gets to the end without selling out. Again, if the demand and the price point is not correct, the price point that Upwind has set does not meet where the demand is on the market, or there's other options to acquire a higher grade totem on the market for some people, we may not see this sell out quickly. Again, there's certain people who really have fallen in love with one totem or another. They want to improve it just a little bit. They just want to, change one aspect of it. Fine, if that's what you want to do. But keep in mind the guarantees aren't there. You go to change one thing, you may be changing other parts of that totem. So you want to watch out. You want to be careful. You might not get exactly what you want just by participating. But if you are going to have fun with it and you're not going to cry either way, and it is an experience for you to be a part of as a form of gamification, the game of Up, when you're willing to put some UPX and USD into it, more power to you. Enjoy yourself. Sales happening tomorrow at 9 a.m. PT. Make sure you register by 8 a.m. PT if you want to be in or have a good chance in that line. Once all of the registered individuals have had a chance to purchase their first, then it opens up to everybody who did not register, which, again, I think may happen on at least a couple of these along the way. So with that, I'm gonna say thank you so much for being here. We're here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. I do want to roll out a couple things that I'm looking forward to in the next week or so. I'm gonna nail down a time. I've been looking at my schedule. I got to work with it. I got some stuff coming up this week for real world shows and real world stage stuff. So I may or may not have the time to get the interviews, and I want to the right days. But I'm working on getting in one and only Elijah, Uplander of the Year nominee. I'm enjoying these interviews. It's a great chance to highlight people who've done a lot in the game of Upland. They've been nominated by other Uplanders for the activities, for the things they've done to create and build and share in the game of Upland. So do want to give them their due. Do want to highlight those individuals. So looking forward to be able to talk to Elijah. Hopefully later this week, I got to look at my schedule one more time and look at his as well and see if we can make that work. And then, of course, turning back around on the other side of things, looking forward to being able to work with some other broadcasters as they get ready for Genesis Week 2024. I'm looking forward to a lot of collaborations between broadcasters and seeing how we can all work together to put more information out, better information for the broad public of Upland. And again, have fun along the way. That's what we want these shows to be. That's what we want this content to be. We want it to be accessible. We want it to be honest and truthful, but we want it to be a little bit of fun as well. Prize Wheel is up and running in Spark Tycoon. Found a free raffle ticket earlier. Won one lumber. That's Kinder. So Kinder, thank you for the update. Again, it's part of the ecosystem. So Spark Tycoon, there is a prize wheel going over there apparently. according to Kinder. So you can get over there if that's something you want to do. But for tonight, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you again tomorrow. If you're in the Upland Cafe Discord, you feel free, as always, to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.